Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. Where is Shui Yun? Luo Feng asked. Chairman Zon Yun hastily shook his head. I have no contact with him. Shi Kingdom's forces in Huyang City are overt and covert, with you, Chairman Zon Yun, in charge on the surface, and Shui Yun controlling things from the shadows. Luo Feng looked at him. This is an open secret in Huyang City. Denying it in front of me is pointless. Yes, I serve the Marquis, Chairman Zon Yun straightforwardly said, but I've been in Huyang City for so long, Divine Monarch Shui Yun has never even met me. It was only after Shang Tianyang exposed his identity that I learned he is Sang Shui Yun. He has always been wary of me, and now he has severed all communication. I truly cannot contact him. Then you are of no use to me. Luo Feng shook his head. No, Chairman Zon Yun wanted to argue, but the primal chaos current instantly infiltrated his godly body, shattering his true god's heart. In the moment of death, Chairman Zon Yun deeply regretted. He knew that accepting the mission to come to this large city in the enemy Yu Kingdom was dangerous. Yet, for the sake of merit points, for the resources bestowed by the Marquis, he still came. He had always been cautious, even secretly befriending some members of the 5 great families, fearing that he might be killed. The 5 great families indeed accommodated him. After all, killing Chairman Zon Yun would just mean there would be another in charge of the intelligence. But this time, he ultimately fell. Luo Feng, because of the nearly 10 billion affected creatures, because of his friend Shang Tianyang, was filled with a dense killing intent and easily crushed him to death. Luo Feng waved his hand and collected his body. Master, what do we do now? Shui Yun is too cautious and careful, his tracks cannot be found, Morosa said. Both he and Master Luo Feng were confident in their ability to kill Divine Monarch Shui Yun. The only problem was how to find him. The few leaders of the Shi Kingdom's forces in the city, Yu Qianshu, Yu Qianyi, including the intelligence head Chairman Zon Yun, all cannot contact him. Luo Feng shook his head. Now we can only hope for good news from the city owner's mansion. Otherwise, killing Shui Yun won't be a matter that can be settled quickly. Inside the city owner's mansion, Lord of Huyang City, Commander Moli Xiao, the white-haired elder, General Yong, and Moli Meng, these 5 were all gathered here. The one who killed Yu Qianshu and Yu Qianyi is actually this Luo He? General Yong exclaimed, even I wouldn't dare say for sure I could kill the Yu Qian siblings, 1 against 2, without using Huyang City's great formation. He is still tracking Shui Yun's whereabouts, Moli Xiao said, knowing full well Shui Yun's strength, yet daring to continue the pursuit, shows his confidence. Outside the city, I can do nothing to Shui Yun. Yet he dares to hunt him down. Is he arrogant, or is his true strength actually above mine? General Yong felt very complicated, as he was also very confident and proud. After all, to walk the path of laws, to cultivate unlimited godly bodies, with the instruction of a godly king, now having mastered primal chaos realm techniques, one could imagine his talent. Looking across the entire eternal true gods of Yu Kingdom, there are hardly any stronger than him. Having killed Yu Qian's siblings, probably he is not arrogant, said the white-haired elder. No wonder before, he did not take your city owner's mansion seriously, General Yong laughed. With his true strength, even if all 10 great legions were to come out together, using Huyang City's great formation, they wouldn't threaten him. Lord of Huyang City said, when Ying Kang tried to assassinate him and ended up dying instead, we knew he was not to be messed with. Moli Meng, contact Luo He quickly, General Yong said, it's just a single karmic tracing order, you can't request the presence of such a powerful being. Since he took the initiative, we must seize the opportunity. Make contact, Moli Xiao ordered. They hesitated very little. Luo He had killed Yu Qian's siblings, making him completely trustworthy. Good, Moli Meng nodded. Brother Luo He, our city owner's mansion has a karmic tracing order left by Shang Tianyang. It can be used to lock onto Divine Monarch Shui Yun's location, Moli Meng communicated. Shall I bring it to your cave mansion now? I will come to the city owner's mansion right now, we'll meet outside the mansion gate. Luo Feng, piloting the flying boat and accompanied by Morosa, made a beeline for the city owner's mansion. Outside the city owner's mansion, an unseen domain spread out, and ordinary cultivators could not clearly see the 5 figures standing there: Lord of Huyang City, Mo Li Xiao, the white-haired elder, General Yong, and Mo Li Meng, all waiting for Luo Feng's arrival. I have never met this divine monarch Luo He, General Yong said, quite curious about this divine monarch Luo He. Divine monarch Luo He is quite merciful, only when someone provokes him does he become ruthless, Mo Li Meng commented on the side. Such strength, yet still merciful, a rarity, General Yong approved. Suddenly, a flying boat descended from the night sky, with Luo Feng and Morosa, the master and servant, flying out of it. Luo Feng also put away the flying boat. Brother Luo He, this is General Yong, Mo Li Meng introduced. Luo Feng recognized everyone present except for General Yong, whom he truly had not met before. I hear that Lord Luo He plans to pursue and kill Shuiyun? General Yong smiled and said, "Are you confident?" 70% confident, Luo Feng said. Upon hearing this, General Yong and the others were secretly shocked. Without even a fight, he dared to say he was 70% confident. That was exceedingly bold. "Do you need my help?" General Yong asked. "No need, I'm used to acting alone," Luo Feng responded. Admirable, General Yong looked at Luo Feng with great approval. I truly did not expect such a powerful being like Lord Luo He in Yu Kingdom's territory. I'm sure after this matter is settled, the 5 godly kings will send their subordinates to invite Lord Luo He. Such a powerful being, even if he couldn't become a primal chaos overlord, was still a great general. "Do you have the karmic tracing order?" Luo Feng asked, unwilling to chat much. This was left to the city owner's mansion by Shong Tianyang, with the hope that the mansion could dispatch enough power to pursue and kill Shuiyun. Commander Mo Li Xiao said from the side, "With the karmic tracing order, we can lock onto Shuiyun's position at any time. If you succeed in killing Shuiyun, that's fine, but if Brother Luo He fails, please return the karmic tracing order," the Lord of Huyang City said as he handed over a peculiar token to Luo Feng. Rest assured, Luo Feng took it. He said 70% confident merely to avoid too much astonishment. If he and Morosa, the 2 of them working together with the Lai Yuan technique, let Shuiyun escape, that would be the real disgrace. Divine power flowed from Luo Feng into the karmic tracing order, and immediately created a connection that sensed a location incredibly far outside the city. That was where the target was. As expected, he did leave the city. Luo Feng said to the 5 in front of him, "Gentlemen, I will now go and pursue Shuiyun. I take my leave first. Please." The Lord of Huyang and the others watched as Luo Feng and Morosa boarded the flying boat and rapidly disappeared into the night sky. "What do you think, will Luo He succeed?" the Lord of Huyang City inquired. "I believe the chances are quite high," General Yong said. "Have you noticed? For such a major event as pursuing Shuiyun, Luo He still brings his servant with him. Right, his servant is just a true god of void space, and would only be a burden, so why bring him along?" Mo Li Meng wondered in surprise. General Yong nodded. "I've heard that in the land of origin, when some great forces train their elites, they usually assign a protector to ensure their safety. This Lord Luo He and his servant, with their secretive origins and such tremendous strength, could possibly come from some great force." The Lord of Huyang, Commander Mo Li Xiao, and the others were startled. "Of course, this is just my speculation. Whether true or false, you must not reveal it to outsiders and disrupt such a being's journey of cultivation," General Yong advised. "We understand," all 4 nodded in agreement. No matter whether right or wrong, the power of Lord Luo He had indeed made them feel wary and tremble. Amidst the night, a flying boat swiftly flew out from the east gate of Huyang City. Luo Feng gazed towards the northeast and, with the help of the karmic tracing order, could remotely lock onto the target's location. "Brother Shong, I never thought I'd end up joining hands with you in the end, to pursue and strike down that Shuiyun." Luo Feng looked at the karmic tracing order in his hand, then the flying boat traversed the void, rushing towards the northeast. In the high sky far from Huyang City, divine monarch Shuiyun was leisurely navigating the void. "There are always some fools in this world," thought divine monarch Shuiyun, "who pity the weak, even to the extent of fighting desperately with me for their sake. Brother Shong, You lack the spiritual will necessary to become a peerless powerhouse. A peerless powerhouse should be cold and ruthless. For the sake of one's own path, even if it means sacrificing tens of billions of creatures, there should be no hesitation. Seize every opportunity. Sacrifice everything that can be sacrificed, even if it's sacrificing one's own loved ones. Only with absolute sincerity towards cultivation can one achieve great accomplishments. In this vast world, with its numerous major powers and countless geniuses, to aspire to become the primal chaos overlord, one must endure what innumerable cultivators cannot, must do what innumerable cultivators cannot do, must have a determination to risk everything. Divine Monarch Shui Yun, facing someone like Shang Tianyang, felt a bit of heartache, but more a sense of looking down. He disdainfully viewed these fools. He was the true elite among the cultivators, possessing an unyielding determination. Yu Tianshu and Yu Tianyi were killed, but I don't know by whom, thought Divine Monarch Shui Yun. As long as it wasn't the primal chaos overlord who took action, there is no threat to me. Now that my strength is revealed, I might as well proceed as if it's been exposed, which, although more dangerous, also allows me to gain more resources. Divine Monarch Shui Yun set off towards Shi Kingdom. Originally, he thought of remaining hidden and low-key to live longer. Divine Monarch Shui Yun knew well that to become the primal chaos overlord, the first rule was to survive long. Resources were only secondary. But now at the climax of crisis, with his reputation known, he could no longer lie low, he had to strive for more resources. He traveled through the void, moving swiftly. In the night sky, Luo Feng utilized the mechanical flow secret treasure Myriad Realms Escape command to instantly navigate the void on his flying boat, covering an incredibly long distance. The Myriad Realms Escape command had reached the level of the primal chaos realm in terms of space traversal. That is, within Huyang City, due to the suppression of spacetime by the city's formation, the Myriad Realms Escape command could only teleport short distances. But the situation was different outside the city. Outside the city, one could freely navigate the void. The assistance of the Myriad Realms Escape command sped up the journey even more. This Shui Yun keeps fleeing towards the direction of Shi Kingdom, he's really fast. Fortunately, with the Myriad Realms Escape command, we can still catch up, said Luo Feng. Is he planning to flee back to Shi Kingdom? Morosa couldn't help but speak. This Shui Yun is really cautious, escaping right after his strength is exposed. He's the craftiest opponent we've encountered on the land of origin. His godly body is not that strong, but his strength is comparable to General Yong. This shows that his realm surpasses General Yong's, Luo Feng solemnly said. Such a high-level being, with unpredictable methods, we must not be the slightest bit careless. How do we deal with him? Asked Morosa. At that time, you disguise yourself as a strand of primal chaos current and blend into my primal chaos domain, said Luo Feng, a perfect lifeform's disguise, flawless. He will not detect it. Don't rush to make a move. Wait until I've driven him into a desperate situation, at the most critical moment, then you deliver the fatal blow, Luo Feng said. Okay, Morosa nodded. The more intense Luo Feng's murderous intent became, the calmer he was. Luo Feng was clear that, given Divine Monarch Shui Yun's extreme caution and the great efforts he made for self-preservation, it was never too much to plan carefully. Shui Yun must die. ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* I left too many traces in Huyang City, and if they are willing to pay the price, they can use these many traces to deduce the secrets of heaven and determine my location. But I am constantly moving. By the time they come after me, I will have already reached another place. They will have to deduce the secrets of heaven over and over again, a cost they can't afford, Divine Monarch Shuiyun thought. Suddenly his expression slightly changed as he looked ahead. In front of him in the void, a figure appeared, a figure with 6 pairs of golden wings. Primal chaos current instantly enveloped a vast area around here. Without the suppression by the Huyang City formation, the primal chaos domain could expand much farther. Amid the primal chaos current, Luo Feng stepped forward, looking coldly at Divine Monarch Shuiyun. Shuiyun, you cannot escape. Luo he. Seeing Luo Feng, Divine Monarch Shuiyun fully understood. It seems it was you who killed Yu Tianshu and Yu Tianyi. the various forces of Huyang City underestimated you before. How did you track me down? To catch up this fast, it must be through cause and effect. Marquis won't betray me, is it Shong Tianyang? He has been with me for too long, and his artifact refining skills have far exceeded my expectations. I must have stumbled in this aspect, Divine Monarch Shueyun speculated. Luo Feng looked at him and said, "You killed Brother Shong without a second thought. Even I was deceived. I thought you and Brother Shong were very close before." In more than 2 decades, Luo Feng had seen Sang Shueyun more than once. But he never saw through his real face. "Anyone who obstructs my path to cultivation shall die," said Divine Monarch Shueyun calmly. "The so-called feelings cannot affect me. Luo He. I couldn't fight with all my strength in Huyang City. But now, I can truly have a battle with you. I just hope you are strong enough to put enough pressure on me, to temper my path, and to help me achieve the primal chaos realm." Divine Monarch Shueyun stared at Luo Feng. "Don't be too weak, it would be meaningless then. Big talk, let's hope you're still this confident later." Luo Feng waved his hand, and a torrent of blood waves surged out, affecting all around and also enveloping Divine Monarch Shueyun. Utilizing a mechanical flow treasure? Divine Monarch Shueyun stood there, shaking his head slightly, truly crude and clumsy. As soon as he finished speaking, boom tilde 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 tilde. Divine Monarch Shueyun instantaneously dispersed like cloud mist, transforming into massive surging blood waves, which spread in all directions and naturally formed a profound and immense array. The array managed to repel Luo Feng's lifeblood river, and even the Primal Chaos Domain struggled to suppress it. Primal Chaos Domain and Lifeblood River couldn't surpass this great formation. All the Primal Chaos Realm moves that I have come to understand till now are integrated into the Blood Cloud Great Array. Within the surging blood wave, a figure of Divine Monarch Shueyun formed, stepping across the waves. The blood wave was vast, and the formation was operating, affecting the surroundings. Various Primal Chaos Realm moves are integrated into the formation. Luo Feng was secretly shocked. No wonder there was a clear gap in godly bodies, yet he matched General Yong. Luo Feng withdrew the lifeblood river, but the Primal Chaos Domain still spread out, offering suppression and many other wondrous uses besides. "Luo He, let me see your strength." The moment Blood Cloud Great Array enveloped Luo Feng, he realized the terrifying aspect of the blood wave, indeed far surpassing his lifeblood river. In terms of power, it was just slightly stronger. But from afar, it looked like water waves, yet up close, it felt like mist. When it contacted his 10 directions infinite blade force on his body's surface, he felt a dark chill, and even more, toxins penetrated the blade force, seeping into his godly body. These toxins of law was also a Primal Chaos Realm level move. Weak godly bodies would die upon contact. Luo Feng instantly utilized the body refining method of Duan Mie, burning divine power, and his godly body's power surged, naturally blocking the corrosive penetration of this blood mist. "You have unlimited godly bodies." Divine Monarch Shueyun stood amid the rolling blood waves, somewhat surprised, but he didn't care, as it was normal for those who dared to hunt him to possess unlimited godly bodies. "This blood cloud great array of yours, its power is average." Luo Feng produced a blood shadow knife in his hand, immediately slashing down with it. A terrifyingly brilliant blade light appeared. Where the blade light passed, even black spatial cracks formed. The immense force tore the blood cloud great array wide open, and many blood waves were directly annihilated. This move also shocked Divine Monarch Shueyun. A single slash cleave through space. The Primal Chaos Realm moves you've realized, do they prioritize power? Coupled with the advantage of unlimited godly bodies, you can actually cleave space with one stroke? You are indeed stronger than Yong Hu, very good. Divine Monarch Shueyun became more excited. The entirety of the blood cloud great array that was split open instantly closed up, and this time, within the blood cloud great array, 3 blood swords containing countless secret patterns were naturally nurtured. Each sword's might was quite terrifying. Luo Feng instantly struck with his blade. 3 blade shadows flashed, cutting through the heavy blood waves, sweeping past those 3 blood swords. Within the rolling blood waves, the 3 blood swords vanished like phantoms, reappearing in the rolling blood waves behind Luo Feng. Boom, boom, boom. At an extremely close distance, The 3 blood swords truly stabbed into Luofeng's back, puncturing the 10 directions infinite blade force, and on Luofeng's back they forcefully stabbed 3 wounds, barely breaking the skin. The skin wounds healed instantly, though. This scene left the originally confident divine monarch Shui Yun somewhat stunned. His blade technique is extremely powerful. How can his godly body's defense also be so strong? Unlimited godly body, to withstand my blood cloud great array attacks, and only scratch the skin? Divine monarch Shui Yun wasn't inexperienced with fighting unlimited godly bodies. General Yong was an unlimited godly body, and Yu Tianshu's godly body was also on par with unlimited godly bodies. None were so unshakable. Luofeng stood there. His blood cloud great array attack had merely scratched his skin. How could he fight? He must have cultivated an emperor-level body refining method, and his protective blade technique must also be at the primal chaos realm level. That's why he is so unshakable. Divine monarch Shui Yun felt the pressure too. Luofeng also felt discomfort. This blood cloud great array was mysteriously unpredictable. His blade technique tore and destroyed, merely annihilating a few blood waves. Raw tilde. Suddenly, Luofeng shook his body, and his godly body abruptly enlarged 1 billion times. This divine monarch Shui Yun was astounded. Looking at an incredibly majestic giant divine spirit standing between heaven and earth, he was trillion kilometers tall, the surrounding mountains barely reached his toes, and even Huyang City in front of him would seem petite. Unlimited godly body can expand or contract. The larger the body, the greater the world compression it needs to withstand. To be able to expand to such a size, to what extent has his unlimited godly body's refining reached? Divine monarch Shui Yun was alarmed. Luofeng looked down. Trillion kilometers was not his limit. He could grow even larger, but it was enough. From Luofeng's perspective at this moment, the majestic blood cloud great array seemed like a small puddle, even smaller than his foot. After all, divine monarch Shui Yun's godly body was only so large, thereby limiting the range of the blood cloud great array he could maintain. Boom! According to the body refining method Duan Mie, Luofeng's divine power suddenly burned to its limit, maintaining such a vast godly body already rapidly depleted divine power, and burning to the limit. He was consuming about 1/10,000th of his divine power reserve every breath, naturally increasing his strength multiple times. This was his most frantic state. Die! Luofeng stomped his foot. Heavens split in 5 directions. His 5 toes were like 5 pillars, and his soul like an infinite world, slamming forcefully downward towards that small puddle. How so terrifying? Blood Cloud looked up at this scene, terrified, and the entire blood cloud great array instantly merged into the ground, escaping deep into the earth. Escaping into the ground was also his specialty. Raw tilde. One stomp. Even in the robust land of origin, this stomp forcefully created 100 trillion kilometers deep imprint. It just went past his ankle. Boom tilde. At this moment, divine monarch Shui Yun felt as if an immense world was bearing down on him. The soil and rocks from all directions instantly crushed and annihilated, engulfed by an endless destructive force. No differentiation in coverage. The range was too wide. He exerted his utmost to perform the Earth escape technique, but under the envelopment of the primal chaos domain, his escaping speed was slower than usual. Instantly, the entire blood cloud great array had escaped to a depth of tens of billions of kilometers, yet it was still completely enveloped by an unimaginably huge foot. The blood cloud great array instantly dispersed like mist, crushed to a depth of hundreds of billions of kilometers by the gigantic foot. Such fierce stomping utterly annihilated many blood mists. Swoosh! Deep beneath Luofeng's foot, wisps of blood mist began to condense out of thin air, forming a body of blood mist. He's still alive. The towering Luofeng looked down from above, his foot having left an imprint billions of kilometers in size, and he was surprised that divine monarch Shui Yun was still alive. How is it possible that one stomp destroyed more than 80% of my godly body? Divine monarch Shui Yun was frightened, truly terrified. He didn't want to die. He could sacrifice everything just for his own cultivation, but if he himself was gone, what would all the endless years of effort amount to? He cherished his own life. His life was the most precious. Only by living could he reach the true pinnacle. Huff! Divine Monarch Shui Yun reluctantly condensed his godly body and quickly performed the earth escape technique again. Escaping. Luo Feng instantly shrunk his body to a height of 200 billion kilometers, and then began to traverse the void with the aid of the Myriad Realms escape command, the void escape technique being much stronger than the earth escape technique, as earth, water flows, mountains, cities were all part of the void and could all employ the void escape technique. But just as the earth was thick, even with the aid of the Myriad Realms escape command, the distance traveled was relatively short. Whoosh! Luo Feng instantly moved to a location hundreds of billions of kilometers deep underground. The moment he appeared, he felt himself pushing apart countless soil and rocks. But these thick soils and rocks also brought pressure. This was also why Luo Feng had shrunk his stature. Even with all his strength, his foot had only stomped to a depth of hundreds of billions of kilometers. Having estimated how strong the pressure from the soil and rocks could be, the compression formed by a height of 200 billion kilometers underground had a relatively small impact on his strength. Morosa, be ready to strike at any moment. Luo Feng naturally carried the primal chaos current, constantly teleporting toward the depths of the earth, chasing after the severely injured Divine Monarch Shui Yun. So fast. Divine Monarch Shui Yun noticed Luo Feng chasing after him. Primal chaos domain combined with spatial traversal is indeed very suitable for chasing. But underground, everywhere is filled with extremely thick soil and rocks. Bang! A gigantic hand carrying the power to destroy heaven and earth tore apart countless soils and rocks, as well as the position where Divine Monarch Shui Yun was. Divine Monarch Shui Yun saw a huge hand instantaneously rolling towards him, frightening him so much that his body voluntarily dispersed. At this moment, Luo Feng was 200 billion kilometers tall, but his hands had become enormous, each hand measuring 100 billion kilometers in length. Swinging these hands like giant shields, each strike employed the heavens split in 5 directions blade, and each was a maximal combustion of divine power. Boom! 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 Luo Feng gave chase, relentlessly attacking with his palms, his 5 fingers like 5 blades, leaving black spatial cracks wherever they passed, destroying everything, including Divine Monarch Shui Yun's godly body. No matter how unpredictable his godly body shifted and how adept his escaping skills were, facing Luo Feng's extensive coverage attack, he could only endure the terrifying onslaught repeatedly. This Divine Monarch Shui Yun seems to have some extremely powerful life force. Clearly, he is already much weakened, and my palms have obliterated him into nothingness, yet he can still condense out of the void. As I suspected, he excels in preserving his life, Luo Feng muttered to himself patiently, and as his godly body considerably reduced in size, even the extreme burning of divine power significantly decreased with each expenditure. Now dozens of palms had only used the energy equivalent to 1 foot stomp of his previous massive form. Earth rebirth. Seemingly obliterated into nothingness, yet a trace of blood mist congealed, forming the figure of Divine Monarch Shui Yun. In the earth, I can continuously draw power. But the speed at which he destroys my power surpasses my recovery, Divine Monarch Shui Yun thought, having never imagined being pushed to this point. He used to believe that without the grand array of Huyang City, no eternal true god in the Yu Kingdom could kill him in a true one-on-one fight. Yet, in front of that boundless, towering godly body and those devastating expansive attacks, Divine Monarch Shui Yun felt powerless. So this is what maximizing the size at will and divine power reserve advantages of the unlimited godly bodies can do. It's terrifying. I must find a way out soon, or I might be completely obliterated, Divine Monarch Shui Yun thought, still calm and looking for an opportunity, even at this moment. Luo Feng pursued as Divine Monarch Shui Yun continued to escape deep into the earth. As they went deeper, the oppressive force from the earth grew more terrifying, forcing Luo Feng to reduce his size along with his palms. Now's the time! A dazzling bloodlight suddenly erupted. In that instant, Divine Monarch Shui Yun frantically burned his divine power, and his originally ephemeral blood mist body transformed into a dazzling streak of bloodlight, escaping through the earth at a speed far surpassing any before. During the chase, Luo Feng consistently deployed the heavens split in 5 directions blade, spreading the primal chaos domain everywhere, with endless primal chaos currents flowing throughout the vast area. Take action. Luo Feng, sensing that divine monarch Shui Yun was desperately burning his remaining divine power, immediately communicated telepathically with Morosa. Morosa's strand of primal chaos current had already been moved by Luo Feng below where divine monarch Shui Yun was heading deep beneath them. Whoosh! Divine monarch Shui Yun was indeed diving deeper into the earth, a skill he was adept in, and the deeper under the earth, the greater his chances of survival. Whoosh tilde tilde tilde. Suddenly, an immense gaping maw appeared before him, so vast it seemed like a bottomless, dark abyss. It enveloped with endless terrifying suction power, engulfing the escaping divine monarch Shui Yun below. Not good. Divine monarch Shui Yun was jolted by fear, even more startled than when he had seen Luo Feng's towering form. In this extremely deep part of the underground, how could there be such a massive gaping maw? Under the engulfing power, divine monarch Shui Yun realized he couldn't resist at all. Die! Morosa emerged from the underground with an imposing stature, especially his head which was immensely huge. He actively met the attack with his gaping maw. The prey had already reached his mouth, and his gaping maw suddenly snapped shut. With his mouth closed, divine monarch Shui Yun only felt surrounded by a dark red world. Death had already enveloped him. No! Death had never been so close, and divine monarch Shui Yun felt as though he had gone mad. After endless years of lurking and cultivating at all costs to reach this point, he could not accept death. He wanted to live. To survive. Boom! The dazzling bloodlight, already extremely fast in escape, suddenly vanished into thin air from Morosa's mouth, reappearing behind him, and continued to burrow deeper into the underground. What? Morosa was baffled. The thing swallowed into his mouth could actually disappear. The escaping streak of bloodlight, divine monarch Shui Yun, was now in utter ecstasy. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, I knew it, I knew it. I was lacking enough trials, a true battle on the edge of life and death, finally allowed me to take the last step. My bloodline has finally transformed. Bloodline transformation, I have now mastered the complete law of primal chaos. Divine monarch Shui Yun was extremely excited. At that moment, it was with the transformed bloodline talent that he traversed the chaos. Even Morosa's mouth couldn't trap him. I will spare Luo He for now. I need time for my small universe to transform. I need more time for my godly body to transform. Once my strength is completely solidified, I will then kill him. This life and death enmity isn't about bullying the weak. Divine monarch Shui Yun felt incredibly exhilarated. The path of bloodline cultivation's bloodline transformation was just the beginning of entering the primal chaos realm. Just like the path of laws, after comprehending the law of primal chaos, one also needs the small universe to expand and transform, the divine power to transform, consolidating a more powerful godly body of the primal chaos realm's hierarchy. Even afterward, one needs to cultivate corresponding hierarchy secret techniques. It takes enough time to solidify one's strength. Now, divine monarch Shui Yun, though still weak in divine power, merely grasping the law of primal chaos allowed him to come up with brilliant tricks effortlessly, unlike the arduous 9 combinations he had previously. Luo He, I still have to thank you for giving me enough pressure. Divine monarch Shui Yun, escaping, was filled with unprecedented joy. The pursuit of endless years had finally been rewarded. Divine monarch Shui Yun suddenly saw a pair of eyes. Those were Luo Feng's eyes. At that moment everything else disappeared. Divine monarch Shui Yun couldn't even sense his own power or bloodline anymore. In his perceptual world, there was only that pair of immensely terrifying eyes. Boom! Those eyes, immensely dense, seemed like endless majestic stars bearing down and instantaneously crushed divine monarch Shui Yun. The vast disparity left him with no ability to resist. A clash of wills. Luo Feng, who had long reached the peak of primal chaos overlord in willpower, combined with the unique Lai Yuan technique from the land of origin, while divine monarch Shui Yun's will had only just barely reached primal chaos dominator level. Instant annihilation, not a trace left. The escaping streak of bloodlight naturally transformed back into a true body. A true body corpse just lay there deep underground, with the true god's heart seemingly intact, yet without consciousness anymore. To think it really forced me to use the Lai Yuan technique. Luo Feng's godly body returned to normal size, appearing beside the corpse. The origin of the Lai Yuan technique was significant. unique in the land of origin. Although onlookers would hardly recognize it, Luo Feng still preferred not to deploy it lightly. He was still too weak. If some ancient existence could see through some reality, it would lead to great trouble for him. Moreover, always relying on the secret technique of willpower could affect his own cultivation path. To reach a higher life form level through cultivation depends on the laws. That is the foundation. He actually managed to escape from my mouth just now. Morosa also appeared at the side, looking at Sang Shueyun's corpse and couldn't help but drool. Master, I feel a great attraction to him. Even greater than Yu Tianshu's corpse attracted me. Morosa didn't know that in the last moments, Shueyun's bloodline had already transformed, which naturally made the corpse unusually significant to him. Don't worry, this corpse will be given to you. Luo Feng extended his hand and pierced through the corpse's chest, removing the true god's heart. But first I need the body to collect the bounty. The body intact, true god's heart intact, would make the Flame Wind Pavilion see the problem. So removing the true god's heart, just in case. After all, catching true god's heart, all forces in Huyang City had already been familiar with it for a long time. Sigh. Taking away the corpse, Luo Feng, together with Morosa, traveled through the void back to the surface. Rumble tilde 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 tilde. Luo Feng disrupted the massive footprint with the primal chaos domain, looking up at the night sky, where stars twinkled brightly. Shueyun is dead, one of the stars in the sky must have dimmed, but it's unnoticeable. Luo Feng said. Every moment, countless stars twinkle, many of them dim. Unless it's the brightest ones, who would care if an ordinary star dims? Morosa said carelessly, we are still too weak. This attempt at intervention had failed, also making Morosa feel his own weakness. Luo Feng looked at the karmic tracing order in his palm, finally not letting down Brother Shong's efforts, then put it away. Let's go, back to Huyang City. Luo Feng immediately took Morosa aboard the flying boat, traveling through the void, heading straight for Huyang City. Luo Feng had not yet returned to Huyang City, but news of Shueyun's assassination had already reached Huyang City ahead of him. Inside the entire Huyang City, all clients of the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall received a message. The assassination task of Divine Monarch Shueyun had been completed. Inside the city owner's mansion. It's done. Mo Li Meng exclaimed. This. Wu Kulu, although also anticipating this outcome, still couldn't believe it when the news from the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall came in. They really killed Shueyun. The Lord of Huyang City remarked, initially, we even thought about teaching Luo he a lesson. Looking back now, it's fortunate we did not act. Luo, his strength is indeed above mine, said General Yong seriously from the side. Looking across all the eternal true gods in the entire Yu Kingdom, only a few could compare with him. As for surpassing him, the Yu Kingdom has no stronger eternal true god than him now. The leaders of the 5 great families were all shocked. These branches of great clans that had come to Huyang City held a lower status within their respective clans. One of the pinnacle eternal true gods in the entire Yu Kingdom? That was a presence cherished by the godly kings, nurtured with ample resources, bright and shining. How could these family branches compare? Shueyun is not an unlimited godly body, but his realm was immensely high. I really didn't expect Luo he could actually kill him. General Yong had confronted Shueyun before and was well aware of Shueyun's strength. Should we go outside the city to meet him? Mo Li Meng suddenly asked. Of course we should greet him. The Lord of Huyang laughed loudly. From now on, Lord Luo he will be the most important friend of our city owner's mansion. I will also go to greet him, said General Yong, who admired the strong. Let's go. The leaders of the 5 great families, General Yong and Mo Li Meng, 7 individuals in total, immediately left the city owner's mansion and used void shuttling to arrive directly at the East City Gate, patiently waiting for the soon-to-return Lord Luo he. At this moment, the hearts of all eternal true gods within Huyang City were passionately stirred. In the Liu Yin primal chaos state of Shi Kingdom, 2 of the 5 gods of Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi had been assassinated one after another, impacting over 80 billion creatures. Now, the divine monarch Shueyun, with a bounty as high as 10 million cosmic sand, was also killed, all on this very night. 10 million cosmic sand. Who could have killed Shueyun? A strong figure from the city owner's mansion, or some mysterious strong figure. The bounty just increased tonight, and Shui Yun, Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, the three of them are all dead. The reward really works indeed. It seems that Huyang City harbors a terrifying being, someone who can be motivated to act if there's enough reward. All the eternal true gods were astonished and also filled with reverence. They would have to act more carefully in Huyang City from now on, not be too reckless. If they inadvertently offended the terrifying being who killed Shui Yun, they feared they wouldn't withstand even a single move. Inside the Heavenly Flame sect, many disciples were still grieving in the square, lamenting their powerlessness and mourning the unshakable divine monarch Shui Yun. As their sorrow had not yet subsided, good news arrived. The divine monarch Shui Yun, with a bounty of 10 million cosmic sand, was killed. Shui Yun is dead. Ha ha! That old demon finally died. Master, Shui Yun is dead. Master, fellow brothers and sisters, your vengeance has finally been avenged. The entire Heavenly Flame sect was exhilarated, and some disciples who had been packing their belongings returned to the square, overwhelmed with excitement. Sect leader, Shui Yun is dead. Uncle Chiu knew the news and also cried excitedly, well aware of what the sect leader had sacrificed his life for. The efforts of the sect leader had paid off. Sang Shui Yun is dead. The Dreamflower Tower master sat alone in her small tower, her expression complicated. This night was too dreamlike. Shong Tianyang and Sang Shui Yun, who had been infatuated with her, were both dead. Asterisk 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 asterisk. A flying boat arrived near the east city gate of Huyang City. Here they come. The 7 figures from the city owner's side had long been waiting. Luo He, alongside Morosa, disembarked from the flying boat. Lord Luo He, the Lord of Huyang, approached enthusiastically. In one night, you have killed 2 of the 5 gods of Yutian and also divine monarch Shui Yun, resolving a major disaster for our Huyang city. Luo Feng said, thanks to the karmic tracing order left by Brother Shong, otherwise, Shui Yun would have fled to Shi Kingdom long ago. Shui Yun was indeed cunning, Mo Li Xiao added. He had been hiding his strength all along, and as soon as his identity was exposed, he immediately sought refuge. Fortunately, Lord Luo He took action and completely eliminated him. Brother Luo He, with your success this time, I too consider my mission accomplished, General Yong said smilingly. After returning to the royal capital, I will surely report Brother Luo his achievements to the godly king. Of course, when he reported the news, he had no idea when the godly king would respond. We have already reported Brother Luo his significant achievements to the Marquis, the Lord of Huyang City said. I believe the Marquis will definitely reward him generously. Huyang City lies within the territory of the Marquis of Zhujiang. Thank you all, Luo Feng said. If he could gain some benefits from the godly king of Yu Kingdom or the Marquis of Zhujiang, Luo Feng naturally would not refuse, as he, currently weak, needed all resources to grow as swiftly as possible. It's all part of our duty, the Lord of Huyang City said. Whenever you need anything in Huyang City in the future, Brother Luo He, just send a message. Brother Luo He, if you are seeking cultivation resources or some opportunities, you should head to the royal capital, General Yong said. Thank you, General Yong. Luo Feng felt the goodwill from the other. But he had no intention of cultivating right under the eyes of a godly king while he was weak. Once Morosa's identity was exposed, he would immediately become the public enemy of the entire land of origin, so it was wise to be cautious during his weaker phase. Gentlemen, I will make a trip to the Flame Wind Pavilion first, so I'll take my leave now, Luo Feng said. Please. All 7 of them were quite enthusiastic, including the leaders of the Meiwu family and the Wu royal family, who did not mind the past conflict that arose from the killing of Meiwu Qi. When one's strength was sufficient, even smashed teeth had to be swallowed. They were well aware that in the eyes of the godly kings and primal chaos overlords, the value of divine monarch Luo He far exceeded all their border branches combined. Inside a cultivation chamber within Zhujiang City of Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture. In my territory, such a formidable eternal true god has emerged. The Marquis of Zhujiang sat on the floor, with silver hair draped over his shoulders, each strand faintly encompassing endless void, causing the surrounding void to twist completely. Marquis Liu Yin is closing in step by step, and the Huyang city, which is closest to the border, is likely his first target. Luckily, Luo He has appeared at this time, Marquis of Zhujiang contemplated. He too was a primal chaos overlord who had cultivated for extended eons and had comprehended the supreme rules of the origin Great Tao. Although he was still far from reaching a godly king, he nonetheless had deep accumulations and terrifying strength. But Marquis Liu Yin, ranked among the top 5 primal chaos overlords within the Shi kingdom, indeed had an edge over him, naturally putting him under great pressure. This Luo He has accomplished such great feats in my territory, I naturally have to reward him heavily. And I must also report to the monarch, thought the Marquis of Zhujiang. The monarch has always liked to nurture the younger generations. Because of my report, Luo He will receive the monarch's cultivation, and he should remember this favor. The Marquis of Zhujiang was well aware that such a level of eternal true gods, even if they were to follow someone, would definitely choose among the 5 godly kings of Yu Kingdom. Only a fool would choose him, the Marquis. Whether in terms of heritage, resources, or backing, a godly king was a whole major level stronger than a primal chaos overlord. To make Luo He grateful and willing to help him protect Huyang city, he naturally had to bestow favors. There were 3 large cities in the entire territory, and the continuous residence fees and other resources from a large city were very important to the Marquis of Zhujiang. Monarch, the Marquis of Zhujiang immediately contacted the monarch of Yu Kingdom. Though Yu Kingdom had 5 godly kings, only the one who established Yu Kingdom was referred to by the primal chaos overlords as monarch of Yu Kingdom. With Shi Kingdom's nature of encroachment, they had never initiated a godly king-level confrontation because the monarch of Yu Kingdom was too terrifying. Zhujiang, why have you contacted me? A voice came from afar, and a vague figure covered in hair directly appeared in the Marquis of Zhujiang's mind. The Marquis of Zhujiang was much more respectful. The monarch of Yu Kingdom, viewed across the entire land of origin, was an extremely terrifying existence. Monarch, I've discovered a young fellow named Luo He in my territory of Huyang city, began the Marquis of Zhujiang, his high status allowing him direct contact with the monarch. Luo Feng was unaware that the Marquis of Zhujiang was planning benefits for him. He, along with Morosa, had already arrived at a small building within the Flamewind Pavilion. Brother Luo He, I admire you greatly, the deputy pavilion master said, his eyes, formed of condensed mist, looking at Luo Feng with a grin. The master of the Flamewind Pavilion also spoke. Brother Luo He, did you bring any proof of killing Shui Yun? Luo Feng extended his hand, holding the corpse of Shui Yun. The master and deputy master of the Flamewind Pavilion closely examined the body, from which many details could be discerned. A hole was present in the chest of the body, and the true god's heart was missing. Again, he seized the true god's heart. Does he have some void-class killing move that can directly extract the heart? These 2 descendants of the Emperor Chu lineage from the Flamewind ancient country, experienced and knowledgeable, speculated wildly. That should prove it, right? Luo Feng said. Of course it does, the deputy master chuckled. Yu Tianshu and Yu Tianyi's bounties, are you taking them together? Of course. Luo Feng took out Yu Tianshu's weapon and Yu Tianyi's mechanical flow secret treasure. Here is 13 million cosmic sand. The deputy master took out the bounty that had been prepared earlier, which the task setters had deposited at the Flamewind Pavilion. Luo Feng received the jade vial, feeling the massive amount of cosmic sand inside, and knew he could be more extravagant in his upcoming days of cultivation. After collecting the bounty, Luo Feng planned to leave. Brother Luo He, the master of the Flamewind Pavilion, began with a smile. Allow me to introduce myself. I come from the Emperor Chu lineage of the Flamewind ancient country, named Emperor Chu Yu. Meeting Brother Luo He in Huyang city of Yu Kingdom is also a kind of fate. The Emperor Chu lineage of the Flamewind ancient country? Luo Feng, not just any ignorant cultivator, possessing inheritance from 2 lineages, was very aware of what the Emperor Chu lineage from the Flamewind ancient country represented. This video will end here.